Okay, assalamu alaikum girls. So now I'm gonna explain lesson 5.4. This is a recorded video. Basically the idea of this lesson is to solve inequalities using addition or subtraction. Let's see. I'll start with a direct example just to give you the idea right away in case you just want to have like a short explanation and then just go and solve by yourself. Okay, so basically I'll start by explaining the lesson from here. The lesson is split into two ideas. Solving inequalities with addition. So this is an addition inequality with addition operation, or same as here. And also solving inequalities with subtraction. Okay, it's just both of them. For both of them the same idea. We have to use inverse operation to solve the inequality. I just want to focus on an idea here that an inequality is basically any expression that contains one of these signs: greater than, less than. We read it from left to right. We have greater than or equal to, or equal. We have less than or equal to. So once an expression contains one of these signs, four signs, we call it an inequality. So the previous recording for lesson 5.2, it was about equations, and equations are called equations because they have an equality sign. For example, x plus 5 equals to 7. And because there's an equality sign, we call it equation. But in inequality, instead of the equality sign, you might have either greater than or maybe less than, greater than or equal, less than or equal. Okay. Let's see how can we solve inequality using inverse operations. Fine. So I'll start with the addition ones. So once you have inequality, whether it's addition or subtraction, it's the same rule. Once you have inequality and you want to solve it, just keep in mind that you have a simple rule says that, I'll just write here, rules to cancel addition, use subtraction, and vice versa. Okay, to cancel subtraction, use addition. So addition and subtraction, they are the opposite operation for each other. Okay. And another rule is always in addition and subtraction, in addition and subtraction only, addition and subtraction inequalities, you never change the direction of the sign, which is more than, less than, more equal, less or equal. You never change it, you never touch it. You have to keep it the same, always. Okay? Because this hint will help us in the next lesson. It will change. But for addition and subtraction cases, we never change it no matter what. Okay? Let's see. So let's start with the addition as we agreed. So here we have the first one is basically y plus 12 is less than or equals to 22. As I like to explain as usual, we like to draw a line to separate the two sides of the equality or inequality. Okay. So to isolate the y, our goal is to isolate the variable. I have to cancel the 12 that is added and to cancel the addition of 12, we use opposite or inverse operation, which is subtraction of the same number. Of course, on both sides, okay? That's it, the number is cancelled. Now we have y alone, the y, we have it down now. Let me just draw it with a different color. Y alone. Remember, the inequality sign stays the same because in addition and subtraction, we don't touch it at all. 22 minus 12 is basically 10. Okay? This one is positive, this one is negative, different signs, subtract. So it's going to be 10, and we put the sign of the greater number, positive. Now, the thing about this lesson is that you're not supposed to only solve the inequality. No, you have to also graph it. So after you solve it, you need to graph it as well. To graph it is just simple steps. I used to write the steps down, but it's not really worth it. The first step is to locate the number, basically in your inequality solution. We have number 10. So you just locate it on the number line. If there was numbers and you just locate the number 10, or just draw any dash at any place and write 10 under it. That here is my number, okay? And then you have to decide the circle. Is it going to be open circle or closed circle? This is basically depending on the sign of inequality, this sign. So if the sign of inequality is greater or less, it's going to be an open circle. If it's greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, it's going to be a closed circle, okay? طيب. So at 10, we're going to draw a closed circle. Since it's less than or equal to 10, so we have to go to the left direction, because usually on the left we have less numbers and on the right we have the greater or higher numbers, okay? Just don't forget to shade under it. That's it. This is the whole idea of the lesson. We're going to take, of course, more examples now, okay? So there's a hack that I don't really like to use, but some students actually like to relate to it. It's basically, since the arrow is pointing to this direction, so just follow the same direction of the arrow. Okay? They just look at the inequality as an arrow. Okay, let's take another example, but now let's take a subtraction example, okay? Type. So again, to solve the inequality, we have to use only inverse operation. First of all, I'm just gonna draw my line to separate two sides of the inequality. Then, since I want to isolate the x, so I have to cancel the negative 7. So to cancel the negative 7, I have to use opposite of subtraction, which is addition of 7 on both sides. Hello? Now, what did we end up with? We ended up with, on the left side, we have only x. Keep the inequality sign as it is. On the right side, 12 plus 7 is basically 19, of course, positive. Now, last step is to draw or graph your answer. Just draw the number line, locate your number, this is 19, positive, and then decide, is it going to be open or closed circle? Since there is no line under it, then it's going to be an open circle. And since it's less than or pointing to this direction, then we have to go to the left. Just shade under it. Don't forget to show explanation that here we have the less direction and here is the more direction. That's it. It's just very simple, very easy, straightforward. Let's take another example, but now we have addition. I'll just count to 3 and start solving. Pause the video here in case you want to try to solve it by yourself and check afterwards. So 3, 2, 1. So basically, first step, we have to draw a line to split the two sides of the inequality. Then again, our goal is to isolate the x. In order to isolate it, I have to cancel or try to cancel the addition of 24. I have to use inverse operation. The inverse of addition is subtraction of the 24 on both sides. Okay? Now the 24 is cancelled. Now on the left side, I only have the x. Of course, don't forget the inequality sign. And on the right side, you have to think twice before you start working here. Again, once you see different signs, I have here what? negative 24 and the 13 is positive. Different signs means subtract. To subtract them, it's better to rewrite them as the bigger number on top minus the smaller number down, just to subtract them properly. Okay? Now 4 minus 3 is 1, 2 minus 1 is again 1, so the answer is 11. And the sign of my answer, is it going to be positive or negative? Depends on the greater number sign. Since the 24 is greater and the sign is negative, so my answer is going to be negative. Again, to locate or to graph your answer, draw the number line. Locate your number, negative 11. Since it's only more than, there is no or equal to, so it's going to be an open circle. And since it's more than, then it have to be in the more direction. Here is the less and there is the more. Just go to the more direction and shade under it. That's it. Okay? طيب, again, let's take one last example. Again, I'm going to count to 3. Stop the video here in case you want to solve it by yourself. 3, 2, 1. طيب. Separate the two sides of the inequality. My ultimate goal is to isolate the variable, or to have the variable on one side. So in order to do that, I need to remove the negative 4 here. To cancel it, I have to use inverse operation. Inverse of a subtraction is addition of the same number on both sides, of course. Okay? Now the negative 4 is removed. I only have x. Of course, we keep the same inequality sign. Then 12 plus 4 is 16 positive. Same sign, just add. Now draw graph your answer. Just put 16 positive. On the right, it's more. On the left is less numbers. And since we have or equal to, it's going to be closed circle. And since it's more than, it have to be to the right. Just shade under it. That's it.